Hello, what is up, chat? What is up? I'm gonna review a few more Patron decks today. I don't know how many I'm gonna get to, but just wanted to do a couple. Just because, I needed to. I was traveling, so I wasn't able to get to them earlier in the week, but wanted to get to a few now. All right, let us copy this deck real quick. There we go. All right. So we have a pretty sweet commander. This user says that they're struggling within bracket 3 to tell the main factors on why your Rakdos control list feels clumsy within a lot of draws. It's likely the access of situational removal / draw, but I felt I supported it with unconditional stuff as well. Okay. Interesting. So this commander is quite cool, I think. I've considered building him. So Lucius the Eternal is 5 mana for a 5/3 with haste. When he dies, you exile it and choose target creature an opponent controls. When that creature leaves the battlefield, return Lucius from exile to the battlefield under its owner's control. So when he dies, he kind of like haunts a creature, and then if you kill that, you get your commander back. And using that in tandem with things like Warstorm Surge, you kind of get like a 2-for-1 whenever you do that, because you go kill your dude, get my guy back, trigger Warstorm Surge, deal 5 damage to something, stuff like that. All this is, and then the rest of it is like classic-y Rakdos aristocracy kind of control type stuff, which is great. I think this is pretty sweet. Let us clear this crap. Oh. Why did it not let me do that before? I don't know. Whatever. Okay, attrition is like mandatory. Like you need attrition in this deck. This is like the best card in your entire list. We'll talk about probably most of these cards. Just clearing out all this other stuff. I feel like I've never seen anyone actually play Lucius the Eternal. Really ever. Oops. What did I type? Lucius. Okay, first thing I would recommend is attrition. So attrition is sideboard. Attrition is crazy in this deck because it sacks a creature as part of the cost and then it destroys a non-black creature. So with Lucius and attrition, you go 1 black, sack Lucius, haunt your creature with Lucius's death trigger, then it's destroyed with attrition's trigger, and then you get Lucius back. So it's just 1 black, infinite Doom Blades, which is pretty insane. And if you want to play like Control and Casual Commander, you need that kind of virtual card advantage. But, you know, that card aside, I feel like what we're missing here is card draw, I would say. If your problem in your control deck is you're getting the situational things not in the right situation, the answer is either tutors or card draw, and in a deck like this, you probably want card draw. So I think we just need to add more cards to this. This can be done in a few ways. In control decks like this, I like, you know, the ability to instant speed hold up your interaction and then go, all right, activate, draw a card, activate, draw a card. So War Room is like an easy thing to fit in as a utility land. Altar the Wretched. What does this flip into? Has flying as long as... Oh, interesting. It like gets all the keywords. What a strange card. Seems like he would like Susur Secundi. Oh, it's already in the list. What is... I don't know what this card is. I usually have things ordered by type, but I have no clue what Susur is. What? Susur. Oh, it's a land. Oh, it's the planet. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, sorcery speed, greater good, yeah. No, that's true, especially because he has 5 power, so he puts some stuff on it pretty quick. What I'm wondering is, like, I get that we're kind of like blinking a dudes and the commander and such, but Perforos is only going to trigger for 2 damage. It's not like where the Ancient Treads or Warstorm Surge. I actually think Perforos is not where we want to be. Genesis Chamber. I don't know if we want Genesis Chamber really either. It's only good with the Perforos. It's actually not as good with... I mean, it's like okay with Warstorm Surge, I guess, but it's going to give your opponents tons of stuff. And we're like a spot removal deck, so it's kind of annoying to get around. I do think we want Norin the Wary. Why did it default to like the... like a foil version of it? Anyway, that's unrelated. There we go. Anyway, Norin the Wary, I think, kind of does what Perforos is doing for you better, because it's just going to trigger everything a lot. And Perforos is kind of 4 mana. I just don't think we go wide enough for it. Trying to find space for other, like, card draw. When an active turns out, when legendary creature dies, deals damage. Okay. Ebony Fly? What's some good Rakdos card draw? Let's find some good Rakdos card draw. Draw card. Black, red. Aclazotz is actually a pretty good control finisher, now that I think about it. This is a reasonable deck for Phyrexian Arena, but now we can find something better. I like Siphon Mind. It's a card I run. What am I playing in my... I guess my Rakdos deck is pretty different. I don't really have card draw on this list in the same way. Yeah, this is not very helpful. I do like Siphon Mind. I would also consider cutting some of these 2-mana things. Like, I don't know how much Ornithopter Paradise does for us. I do think that Liquid Metal Torque is pretty good, and I would honestly even consider Liquid Metal Coating and then playing more artifact removal instead of creature removal. Because like Bedevil is good because it's very flexible, but if I look at something like here we go, Final Vengeance, like I get you sacrifice your commander and it's like kind of useful in that, but if you just have artifact removal with one of these, you can pop anything, which is kind of nice. It's another one of these like engines you can make. If I have it's not Shatter, Spree. Oh, what's that? What's the one with buyback? Shatter. Shattering Pulse. So Shattering Pulse with Liquid Metal Coating or Liquid Metal Torque becomes like an infinite 5-mana destroy target permanent. And then every turn you can be like, kill the thing I need, kill the thing I need, kill the thing I need. And in a control deck like this that wants to go late, it wants to go long, you're going slow, you're going to run into enchantments that you can't easily get rid of because you're in Rakdos colors. So I really like that as kind of like this value engine. And then maybe leaning a little bit more into artifact removal could be a cool way to help out with that. Oh, this is a guy that flips. Oh, man. This card's cool, but I worry it just gets you killed. But I guess we'll see. When a creature your opponent controls dies, put a number of pulse on counters. Okay. Right, and then he transforms into like a big dude. Yeah. I think most of these are like pretty good. I would consider axing the 2-mana ramp here because I just think it's kind of mid in this list. Especially because you don't need to get him out on 4. It's just, it doesn't do anything until you have your other stuff. Yeah, I think these are some ads. I think these are some good cuts. I would say it's just card draw. You know, if you find that you're drawing the wrong half of your deck all the time, you need more card draw so you can draw both halves of your deck. All right, I'm going to move on to the next list. All right. Here's another black control deck. Struggles at closing out games, classic control problem. Had a few win cons such as Vader for Great Merchant, Rise of the Dark Realms, Revel Riches. Feels like they're not consistent and heavy board state dependent. Want to close the games more consistently? Any advice? All right, let us make a new deck here. Text import and perfect. All right. Could not find Beholder's Death Ray. Is Beholder's Death Ray a Doomblade? Snuff out, snuff out. And then our commander is Massacre Girl, known killer. All right. So Massacre Girl, known killer, pretty straightforward commander. 4/4 menace, creatures who control have wither. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, if its toughness was less than 1, draw a card. So if you wither something down, you draw a card. Very cool, right? Good Magic the Gathering card. Card draw in the command zone is perfect for a control deck. So you're having troubles closing out games. So there's a couple of like easy solutions. I say easy. I'm using air quotes here. You cannot see because I'm a... Oh, wait. I didn't put up my dude. Wait. I forgot to... I knew I was missing something. I forgot to turn this thing on. Aha! Look at that. I'm here. Oh, I can put the chat too. Yeah, I can put the chat on screen. I knew I was forgetting something. I'm not very good at streaming. Okay, so there's a couple of things we can do to like speed up the closing out of the game. And you know, you can go the combo route if you want. We already have Bolus the Citadel, so it is, you know, if you decide you're like, I want a combo win, then Aetherflux Reservoir and Sensei's Divining Top. You already have the Bolus the Citadel, bada bing, bada boom. There's your win con right there. Not too crazy. And then you already have Cabal Coffers. So you can just play X spells, right? Exsanguinate. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yes, I did. There it is. Exsanguinate or Torment of Hailfire. All right, you can do those. It's kind of, those are kind of like the classics, right? This is nothing crazy, nothing exciting, but it's like a thing you can do. Alternatively, we can go, you know, for some slightly more interesting ones, perhaps. You could look for mana sinks. So if we have something with the X generic mana in its text box, it's in black, maybe we can find a mana sink that you can use. Maybe we'll filter by EDH rank, so it's not Aladdin's lamp. None of these are really mana sinks. Crypt Rats is kind of funny because it hits everybody. Geth, Lord of the Vault. I really like Geth actually a lot. I think this card's pretty underrated. The cool thing about Geth is, I mean, one is a 5/5 with Intimidate, so he kind of just chunks in for damage. But with this X ability, you just get to reanimate things like every single turn. And he constantly mills, so he feeds himself. He just kind of can take over the game by himself in the late game. Cards like that can be really great. Let's see, who else? Target gets minus O minus X. Does this actually just work with the commander? Wait. If his toughness was less than 1. Is this something people are playing in Massacre Girl Gnome Killer? Or no? Huh. I feel like Drana is like pretty good in this deck. Which one is it? Necroscatter works well for Massacre Girl. It is $5 for the new precon. That's true. What's that? 632 decks that have Drana in it? Out of how many? They changed these numbers, and it kind of bothers me. Out of 7,000, so like nobody's playing Drana. Interesting. Seems pretty good in this list. I don't know if you like need it as a closer, but I don't know. It's a cool card. Let's find some other mana sinks. Trying to think of other things that would just like let us like really close out the game. Oh, what's that zombie one with Delve? Delve. Empty the Pits. Empty the Pits is pretty sweet. So Empty the Pits is a pretty cool control finisher. Because it's an instant, when you get to the point where you're like, I've locked down the board, I'm going to dump all my mana with Cabal Coffers and exile my entire yard to delve Empty the Pits and just make a buttload of zombies, and then you get to untap and swing in. Because it is an instant, you get to immediately attack with them, which is quite cool. Now the question is, what do you cut? That's a good question. Oh, are you not playing the other hunted? Oh, I guess it's pro black. Maybe that's not good for you. Revel in Riches also makes me think, is there another alternative win con that you could play? Let's look into that. Win the game. And orange black. It's probably not that many. Darcy Reactor, kind of too slow. Yeah, nothing here too good. I mean, Mortal Kombat is like reasonable, but you only have 28 creatures. What about Sickening? It's not Sickening Shoal. Sickening Dreams? So if you have things like Sickening Dreams and Crypt Rats that deal damage to everybody, and you play, oh, it's like Dark something? Dark Circle, Dark Sphere? Dark Sphere. So Dark Sphere is this weird thing. The next time a source of your choice would deal damage this turn to you this turn, prevent half that damage round down. It lets you play stuff like Sickening Dreams, where if you have a ton of cards in hand, you have a ton of mana from your Cabal coffers, and you're like, I'm gonna do 40 damage with Sickening Dreams. You can use Dark Sphere to not kill yourself, and then you get to only take 20 damage. Kind of funny. I would say these types of cards help you win without being too board dependent. So I would, maybe give some of those a try. Oh, my ad blocker popped up. I would say maybe give some of those a try. In terms of cuts, you might be able to go down some of the slower cards. Like maybe Black Market is a little on the slow side. I think Lotus Petal's like not super necessary. And then maybe you axe a little bit of card draw. Because you already have so much in the command zone. Or maybe just something also kind of slower like Ophiomancer's kind of eh. Something like that, I think. Alrighty. Let's move on to another deck. Alright, this time I see a lot of black control decks, which maybe says something about me that all my patrons are doing that. So let's take a break from that and look at this list. Magus Lucea Kane. Okay, this user says, I originally built this as an X-tribal list. The main game plan was to ramp heavily, finish the table with one big X-spell. Problem is, the deck feels like a glass cannon. If my commander gets removed a few times, the deck basically does nothing with no real backup plan. I do enjoy ramping a lot and want to keep that identity, but I'm starting with a lack of solid alternative game plans that don't rely heavily on the commander or a single big spell. I'm hoping you can help me reshape it into something. Now, this description of the deck confuses me. And I'll explain why in just a second. Let me get this deck over here. So your problem is that your deck is commander dependent, but I just don't see how. I'll take a closer look at the list. But in theory, it shouldn't be, right? Like, it should just be able to ramp into the big X spells normally. Dole Amaroth. What the hell is Dole Amaroth? Oh, it's Manamo. There we go. Cool. This card needs a reprint. Okay, so let's read the commander real quick. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you put a counter on target creature. Cool. It also taps to add double colorless, and then when you next cast a spell with X in its mana cost, or activate an ability with X in its activation cost, you copy it. And looking at the list, I see, lots of these big Hydras that you're copying with your commander, and mostly that, right? Like, there's not too many X spells. Dwell in Dreams, I guess, Court of Calling. That's not really like an X spell to copy. And now I see why you're having this issue. The reason you're having this problem is because your X spells are creatures. If you don't want your... Because there's only so many things that will copy the X spell creature. But if your X spells are instants and sorceries, we have a replacement for your commander. We're in red. You know, we're in blue. You can just copy them with copy spells. So if you're like, oh, my commander is dying a bunch and like I'm not able to copy my hydras, what we need to do is cut some of these X creatures and add in a few X instant sorceries and a couple of copy spells. This way, if your commander is gone, doesn't matter. You can still cast a big X spell and copy it because your 99 is able to support that better. Now, what X spells do you want to be copying? Well, Doppelgang is pretty funny. I see you already have Doppelgang in there. And you know what we can do is we can go to EDH Rec. We can go to Doppelgang and just see what other cards people are playing with it. What are some other X spells people are using with the Doppelgang? Let's just go to instance right here. None of these are X spells. I guess there's that one. This wasn't particularly useful. But it's fine. Where EDH Rec fails us, Scryfall will save us. So let's go here. Now in the mana cost, I want an X to be somewhere in there. Where in Teamer Colors, EDH Rec rank, and then sorcery, instant, allow partial type matches. And oh, maybe I should put like X in the text. Or maybe just as a letter. Yeah. Get rid of the symbol. Let's do this. Okay, this is not exactly what we're looking for, but it'll get us there. Oh, maybe you know what? Even better than this. Hang on. Is there a... Oh, there's no X spells? I don't want cards with this exact mana cost. Alright, I guess this is the best way to do it. Okay. Anyway, that aside, let's scroll around and find some useful X spells. Oh, Crackled Power. There we go. That's like the classic, right? Very powerful thing to copy. Electro Dominance, maybe not quite what we're looking for. Hell to Pale deals X damage to our creature. Create number of tapped treasures equal to excess damage dealt this way. It's kind of fun, not like a finisher though. Oh, oh, it's not Hour of Promise. Is it Hour of Devastation? That's not the card I'm thinking of. I just had one come to mind, and I don't remember the name. I can see the art, though, in my mind's eye. Pretty sure it's XX Triple Blue. Hour of Eternity. Yeah, this is a really fun card to copy. I like Hour of Eternity a lot. Very sweet card to copy. Let's keep scrolling around here. Community with Lava's good. I don't know what I'm looking for, though. Apex of Power is sweet, but it's not an X spell. Mind Spring is okay. You know, it's another good way to look for stuff like this. If I go to themes here and click on X spells. Maybe find a few good ones here. When you cast your next instant sorcery, copy that X times. You may choose new X. Not quite what we're looking for. Tap X creatures. If you control creatures power 4 or greater, those creatures don't have to control X. Untap step. That's kind of fun. Man, Lava Avalanche is so funny. It deals X damage to target creature or player, and to target player or planeswalker, and then each creature they control. It's pretty funny. But it's in Jund colors. Nobody plays this anywhere. Yet again, this was not particularly useful. Oh, mass manipulation is pretty sweet. It's another good one to copy. You can just like yoink the whole board. Create X tokens that are copied to target creature you control, except they have when this creature enters the battlefield, fights up to one target creature you don't control. That's pretty sweet. Do you already have aggressive Biomancer in here? That one does require an extra hoop of having like a creature you want to copy, but it is pretty good. Goblin negotiations. Not what we're looking for. Alright. Let's get back to the deck here. So, some instants and sorceries that you want to copy. Maybe some extra copy spells. And then I think maybe you just kind of trim back a little bit on some of the X creatures, because they're kind of not as good without your commander. You know, maybe just cut a couple of those. Like, I don't know. This one, it is Ravenous 5. And that is pretty good. I don't know. I guess whatever one you think performs the worst. Let's say this battlefield fights up to one target creature an opponent controls. If that creature would die this turn, exile. That's pretty good. I mean, the Tyranids are actually like reasonable value, so like maybe this one's kind of mid, something like that. This one kind of eh. These coming to a player create that many 1/1s. Yeah, you know, stuff like that. Those ones are kind of mid. Whatever you think the weakest ones are. Also, side tangent, I just absolutely hate that they use the word Tyranid. It could have just been like insect mutant, right? Like there's no reason to have it be this way. It's so stupid. Anyway. Yeah, that's my my thing for your deck is if you feel like you need the commander too much, let's drop some creatures, add some instant sorceries, add some other ways to copy those, because Copying instant sorceries is a lot easier. And then you don't have to rely on the commander so much, and you can actually do the big expel, copy it kind of game plan, which I think is pretty sweet. You'd have to tune the deck a little bit. Maybe Tribute to the World Tree isn't as good, depending on how many of these things you cut. Maybe same with Teamwear Ascendancy, and then, maybe you cast, you play other, bonus round. It's an absurd Magic the Gathering card, if you've ever played this. Because you can bonus round, and then mass manipulate twice, and then double reverberate or something crazy. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Well, this is kind of perfect timing because I was going to wrap it up here anyway. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. I will catch you all later. Thanks to my patrons for